Okay, hello. Let's set this up, shall we? Stream manager. Okay. Nice. Okay, everything is set up. Let's just test the chat real quick. Okay, close that. Close that. Okay. Test. Nice. Okay. Scene 2. Yeah. Hello there. Okay, let's jump into it. I will not waste any time. I started freaking late because I had to set up some stuff, and I'll explain along the way. Okay, let's switch to the game. Hopefully it's gonna show up. Let's see. Let's just check the stream. I really hope it's gonna show up on the stream because I've been doing some reinstalling. Yes, okay. Oh, thank God. Oh, thank God. Well, thank me, but because I went through freaking hell setting everything up. Anyway, so what happened exactly? So let me just check the volume. Okay, it's fine. Maybe just a little bit more on my end. It's a little quiet. 30%. Okay. Okay. Nice. Anyway, so what I've been up to. Haha. This. There we go. Okay, so I have decided to subscribe, but the main reason for subscribing is to change my combat style. And I don't know, maybe something else that might be important along the way. I don't know, might as well make use of the sub. It wasn't that expensive, actually. It was 12 or 13 euros, which I guess is like about 14-15 bucks. But yeah, for 1 month to unlock everything, I basically have all of the expansions unlocked now. I'll see if I'll play through all of them. I kind of would like to, but we'll take things, at a natural pace. So the main thing I want to do is, even though I, love the sniper, I like the gameplay, and that's fine, whatever. But I would like to add a second playstyle. Let's see, but to do that, what is this? Click launch to add a second combat style. Because of your proficiency, expertise in tech-based combat, you have the opportunity to earn a second combat style. Let me just check the volume. Okay, cool. Galactic Solution Industries, one of the galaxy's leading weapons manufacturers, offers training and instruction of various tech-based combat styles. Little weapon. GSI's instructional facility. Okay, apparently we have to do a mission. Hopefully it will make sense. Okay. Ooh. Cutscene I've never seen before. I'm not kidding. Okay, I assume that's the GSI logo. Solution Industries, Galaxy Technology, provided conference training, suspended combat styles. I'm happy to assist you with if you would like first-hand demonstration of a specific combat style. Oh, okay, so it's like KOTOR based dialogues. Okay. I think we're gonna choose operative. Most likely. Most likely. Yeah, sure. Sure, let's go operative. Versatile tactical agents, operative tools. Seems a variety of combat methods, including debilitating, devastating targets, flash rifle, and cross-toxic. Hostile approach. Operatives ambush an enemy from the shadows before lacerating them. Something. Too fast. Though deadly operatives just proficient at regenerative techniques, keeping allies. Oh wow! Even when quick reading, I can't match the speed. You know what? I just want to see what power tech looks like, because that used to be my favorite one. Back on my main, like, old main character. Well, second. So the cool thing with them is that you can, like, leap to the target. And also, who doesn't like flamethrowers? I wish I could, like, play all of them on a single character, but sadly... I mean, listen, if I can change the sniper, honestly, I would go straight for the power tech, but I really wanna go... I really feel like going operative because of the stealth. Scoundrel is basically the same thing, just flipped. Let's go operative. Let's go operative. Okay, I've seen this before. Glad I could skip it. Okay, sadly I can only... It's actually cool that you can change your mind mid-decision again, but I will be operative. This choice permanently add the operative combat style to your character. I sure wish to proceed. A third, like, notification. Cool. I'm happy that it's like that. Okay. Congratulations, your second combat style acquisition complete. You made an excellent selection. Please watch your step. It has a structural facility. Thank you for choosing Life Solution Industries. Wow, even with quick reading. We stay neutral so you don't have to. Wow. I wonder how much that's true. Okay, so I'm an operative now. Yay. To be honest, I kind of got tired of, like, crouching down as a sniper. Kind of the slow gameplay. But I want to check one more thing. Checking this updated. What happens? The sniper. Okay, combat style, operative. Okay, cool. The what? Wait a minute. Huh. The sin operative. Ah. I don't know, don't care. Okay. That's... Wait a minute, why did it get... Oh, my old one got deleted, god damn it. Okay, Huh. Wait a minute. There we go, okay. So, okay, so I'm an operator now. But what? Interesting, okay. I don't know. I won't be switching back and forth so much, I think. Maybe damage over time, lethality. Oh yeah, concealment, definitely. Anyway, I'm pretty excited. I actually can't wait to try this out. But first I'm gonna have to see what my abilities are, and hopefully I'll be able to save it in my loadouts. Does switching loadout... No, do loadouts save curly we're in. Okay, asking map chat. Hopefully map chat is normal. Who am I kidding? Of course it's not. A girl can dream, can't she? Pretty much. Okay. Okay. Let's see. I just want to check the laceration no longer costs energy. Deals 10% more damage. Low target. Group hit chance creep by 10%. And laceration reduces stim boost cooldown by 10 seconds. What is stim boost? What is stim boost? Oh. Dealing damage less resistance for you, increasing your damage reduction. Laceration executes your tactical advantage. Lacerating the target for damage acquires and consumes tactical advantage. 1 second. Okay. Turned off the hotspot on my tablet because I don't want to waste to kind of interfere with the internet. Okay. Scouting. Increase your stealth detection by 5 and chance to dodge by 2. Laceration triggers a collateral strike, dealing 96 additional kinetic damage. Hopefully there's no... Okay, I just want to open my window a bit. Hopefully it's not going to be loud outside. Okay, anyway. What I'm doing right now is I kind of want to check out the abilities rifle shot. Let's actually go... Yeah, let's just go to Tatooine. And I'll kind of go along the way, but in the meantime I'll read what the abilities say. What they do. Well, we'll see them in action on Tatooine. Can't wait to go to Tatooine, man. It's been a long time. Should have left you without don't beat step two. I love Timberland. Okay. Travel to Tatooine. Oh, god damn, it's so loud. I'm actually gonna... Where is it? Preferences, sound. Actually... the sound is fine. Maybe I'll bump it up on my end. Actually, I will do that because it's kinda quiet a little bit. Yeah. 30. Oof. Okay, 35. Hopefully it's not gonna be too loud. Just want to check Spotify. Spotify's volume. Okay. Okay, anyway. Back to the game. Let's go to Tatooine. Oh, I'm so excited. Yes. Where are we? We're on the fleet. Okay, damn, that's a long drive. Yeah. Okay, Tatooine. Very nice. God, look at that. Whee! Yeah. Very cool. Okay, cutscene.
Watcher 2 to Cipher 9. Link established with Mos Illa Spaceport. Updating encryption protocols. And transmission secure. I assume the flight was uneventful?
There we go. The first dialogue. Immediately flirting.
You're the first exciting thing here. Relieve my boredom?
You might get more excitement than you like. Tatooine's a desert world.
Okay.
Binary star system, minimal life forms, sparsely populated by farmers and petty criminals. Mos Illa is the sole Imperial outpost. Not normally somewhere we'd expect terrorists to congregate. But these are unusual terrorists. The Ghost Cell.
Ooh, spooky.
Cute name. Did we come up with it or did they?
One of theirs. Not bad
Sass.
for propaganda. Years ago, we heard rumors of a training program for hardened radicals. A terror cell specializing in stealth, infiltration, and assassination. Information now suggests this Ghost Cell is real. Elite support for the Eagles network.
Not as elite as me.
I fought ghosts in the Dark Temple. I'm not afraid of pretenders.
Cipher, there were no, ghosts in the temple. Rogue Force manifestations is all. We're targeting Tatooine on the word of an anonymous source claiming
Cipher,
to be a former Ghost Cell member. The source says that stopping the terrorists is a matter of conscience. He wants a face-to-face meeting.
Hate it when they're like entitled and shit. Face-to-face meeting. I'll be gentle.
I can use a delicate touch.
Soothe his paranoia and dispose of him when you've eliminated the cell. He's
God
waiting for a
damn.
call from a holocom terminal in town. Stay on guard. Watcher 2 out.
Okay, just gonna lower my mic, kind of get it a little bit closer. If I freaking can. Yeah, a little bit closer. Wait a minute. Okay, that's perfectly fine. Okay, so get out of first person. So finally I can stealth. Ah, yes. And later as I level on, I can walk fast. Whoops. Did I just throw my ability out? What the hell? Operative. Where the hell is stealth? Okay, there we go. So. Stop it. Okay, I'm definitely gonna lock the bar once I'm done with it. I wanna set up my abilities accordingly. So we're gonna take a little bit of time to do that. Also, last time I figured out how to get my like those heroic abilities from my other classes that I used to have. Past tense, sadly. I activate heroic moment, and then I can do like all of those 8 abilities, and that's really cool. And the cool thing is I have 8 of them, so I can just like, you know, keep blasting them. Very useful in boss fights, definitely. So, let's see. Let's see. I want to rearrange the abilities, so the basic attack will always be there. Go behind a target. If used from stealth, backstab deals more damage. Grants tactical advantage. Okay. So backstab is only usable behind a target. Kinda vibing it on number 4. I don't know why. Noxious knives. Hurl envenomed knives and 10-meter cone in front of you, damaging up to... Okay. That kind of attack always vibed number 3 with me. I don't know. That kind of like cone attack. Like if I was a power attack, the kind of flamethrower attack would be on number 3. I don't know why. That's how I used to play it. Escape. We will not deal with that right now. We don't use that too often. Shiv. Shiv. Shot. Blast target for 0 weapon damage. That's funny. So... Huh. What else do we have? So I have healing, but I'm not going to be using that. Don't even need it. Well, we'll see. But I think I won't need it. I'll set my companion to heal. Executes your tactical advantage. Lacerating a target for kinetic damage requires consume tactical advantage. Okay. So this is 30 meters. That is also 30 meters. How about... It's hard to decide. Maybe the grenade should be there. This is the number 2. So, Shiv. So laceration should definitely be combined after this. After backstab. So I go into stealth. Wait a minute, what is... I should definitely do it like it's so hot. Jeez. It's so freaking hot. Oh, wait a minute, whoops. My laundry. Jesus, forgot. Okay. We are back. Oh. Managed to improve my setup a little bit. Managed to kind of move some things that were kind of annoying out of the way. That's excellent. Okay, so stealthy. I missed stealth. God. Let's see. First of all, I want to see if it will save before I move on. So if I switch to sniper and then back to operative, huh? Wait a minute. Wow. Okay. Just gonna go back to operative. Why not? What? What? Oh, I don't know, man. I hate that it kind of jambles it all around, but then again, I won't be switching too often, so I don't know. It sucks that it's like that, but I want to figure it out. It even messed up that. God damn it. Okay. So, what I wanted to do, so I can reach 1 through 5 pretty easily. But 8, 9, 10, 11, that's too much. So I'm not even sure how many abilities I'll actually have. So, kind of go with like the most, the ones they'll be using the most. So, target. Okay, that goes on number 4. Shiv can go on, I don't know. It's hard. It's hard to decide. Acquires consumes technical advantage. Adrenaline probe. That will go down here. Stealth would go there. Now I have no idea what to do to activate stealth. Maybe middle mouse button. Let's see. Damn, it's hot. Quick bar. So if that's number 11, then number 10, take cover has been unmapped. Okay. I thought take cover was like... I thought take cover was F. For target... Strafe, no. Take cover in place. Take cover. Why doesn't he take cover? Okay. Use the public altar. I'll land. Okay, cool. I'll land. And then... Well, hopefully F will work. God, it's so cool when... Wait a minute, so it's not working. Oh, I didn't even equip a weapon. Ugh. Shit, wait a minute, so I... Huh. So I need to buy a rifle? It sucks. Okay. Cypher. Cool, cool. So the middle button, it definitely feels right for stealth. So I need to buy a weapon. Damn. It has come to this. Oops. What is this? Standard rifle cache. Ah. Okay, now can I take cover? I still can't take cover, what the hell? Is it take cover in place? Where is it? Oh, I can't see it. It's not in general. It's not legacy. Huh. Maybe I could definitely cover. It's just... Let's test it out. I need an enemy. Story arc Tatooine. Mos Illa. Okay, give me anything. Give me anything at all to shoot at. Anything at all. Please. Oh, there it is. Okay. So why the hell can't I take cover? What the hell? So key bindings. F, take cover. I don't get it. Does it only work if there is actually cover? Nope, I can't take cover. I don't know why. Weird. Okay, so apparently I cannot take cover. Could have sworn I could. I mean, I don't know what's going on. It's kind of annoying, but okay. General. Maybe I should put all my ranged like that. Let's see. Okay. Hmm. $10-meter cone, so it should be this. Okay, and I'll kind of set it up as I go. What I'm trying to do right now is I'm trying to like set up my new abilities because I switched over to operative. Kind of want to figure out how I can make it like fit my style the best. And by my style I mean like the hotkeys. So I want to go like maybe 1 through 5, and then 6 through 10 be Y, X. Wait a minute, what does this do? Nothing. Okay, so Y, X sitting down, that's useless. C is, yeah, character, but because pressing shift and doing those attacks, it's could be doable. Shift 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe. It's kind of a hassle, but or maybe not. I don't know. Let's try it. Let's try it. Why the hell not? First time for everything. Okay. So quick bar. Main quick bar. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I mean 5. And then 6 will be Shift 1. Shift 2. Shift 3. Shift 4. Shift 5. Okay. 10 abilities. Hopefully it's not going to be a hassle. Apply. Nice. It's kind of going to be hard to to like follow it. Maybe it can help me like to do it visually. Oh my god, it's so freaking hot and I'm sweating. And especially with the headphones. Wish it didn't sweat so much. Well, wish it wasn't so hot. But anyway. Anywho. Let's maybe I can do it like this. What is this anyway? Call to infusion. Executes tactical advantage to heal the target immediately. Okay, that's healing. I'll figure that out later. Let's think about this. So, oh, fuck. Shit. Wait. Oh, this is so hard. It's hard to figure it out. Don't know why it's so hard, but Just reset everything. Okay, so so it's quick bar 2. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, shift 1, shift 2, shift 3, shift 4, and shift 5. Damn, that's a stretch. Shift 5. Okay. I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm just trying to figure out, like, okay, I kind of like it when all the attacks are on the upper, on the first quick bar, and then on the second quick bar are like more defensive, healing, whatever. So I'm kind of thinking like to put the lower ones, 1, 2, 3. What is V? Nothing? Okay, V is apparently nothing. 1, 2, 3, 4. So my pinky will always be on shift. That's fine. Huh. Trying to feel it out. Like it's always on shift. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Maybe I can figure it out. Maybe I can get used to it. So quick bar 1. Okay. Anyway. Oh. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 6 will be shift 1, shift 2, shift 3. I'll try it out and see if it's not really natural. I'll go back. 11 and 12, I can't really. Don't know what to do with those. So I'll. Okay, make these lower ones. Huh? Okay. What? Apparently this key doesn't work. Okay. Huh. I don't know. Let's do Z, X, C, V, and B. 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, there we go. Okay. Damn. Okay, so that's kind of like my, let's see, 1, 2, 3. So I have 4 and 5 left for like attacks. What else do I have as an attack? I don't know, maybe that. Or something else later. Something else later, probably. Okay, so these are the leftovers. Yes. Kind of want to keep it in combat, so I'm going to put this over here. What's the best one I can put? 5-minute cooldown. Jeez. So that can be all the way over here. These like special ones. Cooldown 4 minutes. Yeah, that's also a lot. Purges all movement. What's the easiest one to reach? C, probably. Or V. V, yeah. Okay. C and V are kind of pretty natural, so maybe increase your chance to dodge melee and range attacks by 204 seconds, lowers threat by a moderate amount. So that's cool. I kind of want to keep them by cooldown, like from left to right, you know, lowest to highest. Stim boost. Protects. Stim boost. Cooldown 8 seconds, but it consumes tactical advantage. I want to see how I actually gain tactical advantage. Crap. Now I need new shortcuts. God damn. What should I bind them to? Maybe Shift C. Smart. So Shift. Maybe Shift B. How it was. Shift C. So character pane. Oh, chat pane. What else did I... Is that it? B and C? Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Okay. So Shift C. What did I want to see? Combat style. Okay. Where can I read about tactical advantage? There it is. Okay. Defeating an opponent. Fuck you. Defeating an opponent or activating Shiv puts you in a position. Wait a minute. Activating Shiv. Okay. It's in a position of tactical advantage, enabling the use of executions for 24 seconds. Up 2 charges of tactical advantage can exist at once. So if I just go stabby this guy. Oh, okay. So it does work. Interesting. Wow, getting used to the new layout is kind of tricky. Yeah, it's pretty tricky. Kind of thinking of like putting it, because I tend to look at the abilities still. Don't have them like mapped in my brain yet. It's kind of thinking about maybe switching them down. God, the first freaking hour of the playthrough just me like going back and forth. Let's see what it looks like. Like. So Shiv is like the first one. I mean, I'll definitely get more attacks or different abilities, but... Let's switch it up. Let's can do it. Whoa. So I'll switch these up with Shift 1, Shift 2, Shift again, Shift 4, Shift 5. Screw it. Okay, but the first... Well, actually 6, yeah. Z, X, C, V. Nice. They're all switched up. 4, 5. Okay, that still remains. That's good. And number 10 will be Shift B. Oh, whoops. Whoops. Oh my god. Where is it? Shift. Fuck, what did I do? Toggle something. What the hell did I do? 5ZXCVB. Okay, that's fine. Require 2 slot 1. So what the hell is Shift B? Oh, right. There we go. Okay, now it's switched up, and I have no idea how we're gonna do this, but we'll do it somehow. Cover 50 energy for 3 seconds. Yeah, I definitely need like an emergency button, so that's gonna be... Huh. About B for now. V. So the C one is just to get out. Wow, 2 minutes. So Z is for like instant healing, I guess. Advantage. Okay. Okay, kind of figured it out. Should be fine for now. Okay, anyway. Oh. Target. Okay. Public holocom. Still thinking about the quick bar.
I've been waiting for days. I don't appreciate being jerked around. Who is this anyway? Who sent you?
Who is this? Don't mess
Someone
with
who
me.
can ruin you if I don't get what I want. Clear?
Yes.
Fine. I'll talk about the terrorists, but I need a guarantee. If we're going to meet, no one can know. Not the Ghost Cell, not Imperial security.
Give me your location and stay put.
I can't. We each come halfway, or we don't do this at all. There are sentry droids all around town. Imperial model, but everyone knows their holocam feeds are insecure. The Ghost Cell could use them to find me. Take out the droids and I can make our rendezvous.
Say I
Denmark.
agree. Where do we make contact?
Once you've dealt with the sentries, head to the market. Give the droids holocams to a merchant named Dotto Wiss. He'll send you to me.
Watu. Okay.
Get your safe passage, then we talk.
$39 operative. Okay. Okay. Whoops. Wrong one. Blah. Might as well use it. Okay. If we're gonna battle, let's see how it goes. What? Oh. Actually, since this is my furthest one, I'll put this, then 10 meters. $10 meter, 10 meter. Okay. Yeah, so it's kind of going from furthest away to closest. Raw. It's funny when you shoot a poison dart at like does poison on droids. I guess if it's corroding them, then makes sense. But nice. What is this? Oh, okay. Security cam. Stabby, stabby. Oops. Okay, loot him. Speak to Dotto Was. God, I love this planet. There's something so good about it. Okay.
Good droids. Many droids.
I thought it was a chick. It's a
You coming
dude.
to shop now? Yes. You look around.
No
I've got
game
your
version.
stupid holocams. Now tell me what's going on.
Holocams? Yes, yes. For these we make an exchange. I get holocams, you get shiny mouse droid. Good condition.
I don't want a droid. Who put you up to this?
No, no, please. Mouse droid comes this morning, yes? With credits and
Yeah?
instruction. Give in exchange for holocams. That is all I know. I do not ask questions when strange droids come with money. So you take it.
If I must.
If I get in trouble for this, I'll be back for you.
I only follow instructions. No trouble. No trouble, you see? No, your, mouse droid seems to wander away. Maybe follow? Maybe?
So cute. Tiny little mouse droid. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Okay, cutscene. So cute. Oh shit! It's a trap. It's a fucking
Weapons
trap.
down. I don't want to fight. You sure you weren't followed?
Gotta bump up the volume. I don't know why it's so why it's so cute. Why it's so quiet. 1 second. Not sure why the game is so quiet for me, but okay. I'm in charge now.
Even if I was followed, you're not going anywhere. Understand?
I said I don't want to fight. Damn it. Okay, look. I'm backing off.
That was easy.
My name is Mia Hawkins. I'm
Mia.
not giving you the runaround. It's just the ghost cell can look like anyone. Holographic disguise.
Okay.
Holographic disguises will only get you so far.
They're not. Let me start over. I used to be part of Cobalt Flag, the anti-occupation group on Sullust. We fought the Empire, organized bombings and sabotage. Didn't work. Last year, Imp Security cracked down. Most of us died. I was approached by people who offered me a way out. Retraining.
You were a terrorist.
Don't make it sound like you were a victim. You killed people.
Cobalt Flag always issued warnings before attacks. If civilians died, it wasn't our fault. Look, I don't want to get into a political argument. I did what I had to do. But right now, we've got the same goals.
It's like that Simpsons meme, like, I'm gonna start moving my arms like this and walk towards you, and if you get hit, it's not my fault. Right. Okay, don't think this is over.
You may be able to help, but it doesn't excuse what you've done.
I'm not looking for excuses.
Rebel scum.
The Eagles people smuggled me into Tatooine, brought me to this weird empty village in the middle of the desert. The ghost cell lived there, a few dozen fighters from around the galaxy, training under their leader, the Old Man.
The old
No real
man?
name, I take it?
He was ancient, brilliant. He taught us how to move
He was fucking
kill
old.
anyone. The Old Man's village was an empty model. We could experiment with bombs, sniper fire, whatever. I spent months there. Then they
With each
started
other.
kidnapping civilians, brought them to the village so we could
I was in
practice.
college.
That's when I slipped away.
You trained on real people, or horrible,
That's
horrible.
very nearly sickening.
Those people were innocent. There are limits.
She's
There.
losing her mind.
The ghost cell has to stop. I don't know where the village is. They kept us sedated coming and going, but I had a thought. The cell gets food and supplies from some smuggler in town. Name of Dragon Eyes. If we can flesh him out, he can lead us there.
Don't worry, I'll just look at my in-game map and know exactly where it is. I'll be a dick.
This is a joke.
Supplier isn't my
I
concern.
ask you to deliver assassins and you give me a merchant.
Not just a merchant. Someone with a way in. I patched together these tracking devices. Wouldn't be hard to plant them on customers in the local cantina. People who know things. Then you ask around for Dragon Eyes, loud and public. Someone's bound to try and warn him, and with the trackers, we can see who.
Okay.
Believe me, I can make a scene.
I'll monitor the trackers and call you when someone gets in touch with Dragon Eyes.
I
But
can make a
work
scene.
fast, okay?
Okay. That was... Better vibro knife. For operative, it makes sense to have a vibro knife, but for sniper... I don't know. It is what it is. Oh, wait a minute. Wrong way. The slit shift, I'd write it as slit shift. Why not? Screw it. It's close, but Story time. The slit shit cantina. Oh, I can dress up as a freaking. Oh, wait a minute. Don't wanna waste my money. I'll keep this just in case. Nah, I'll sell it. Screw it. Screw it. Robbie Bergu. Okay, going underneath. Underneath it all.
Don't be shy. Get up there.
I'm fine down here, thank you.
Ah, don't be like that. You're one of us now. It's a squad tradition.
You're saying you've all cavorted around on stage like a bunch of loons?
Too bad there's not speech bubbles, but
No, but it'll make for an interesting report to the commander.
See anything you like, give me a wink. Bring your kids back anytime.
I will not wink, thank you very much. What am I supposed to do? Tag? Wow, wait a minute. The freaking mission text is so tiny. Tiny! There we go. Nice and fucking big. Okay. Tag a cantina bouncer. Wow, that's stealthy. Tag a cantina patron. Tag a cantina waitress. Just like directly behind her. Speak to the bartender and jump to him.
So the Imperials come in with 3 astromech droids, and I'm thinking to myself,
Hoodle-a-doo. Hoodle-a-doo.
I see. You want something? I'm a little busy.
I see. I want Dragon Eyes. Just here to
Could I
chat.
pay a visit, have a drink or two? That a problem?
No, most strangers have reasons for coming here, though.
I'm desperate for help.
Look, I'll be straight. There's this guy, Dragon Eyes, and I need to find him fast.
Not the tone I was looking for, but...
Shut up, you.
Shut up, you.
Dragon Eyes. That doesn't ring any bells, but that don't mean much. What's this guy to you?
We have business
The two
together.
of us have shared interests. A meeting could be profitable.
Well, I'll keep an ear out, but I can't promise much. Ask around all you want, though. Not my bother.
Okay.
Good news. An old Rhodian left the cantina a few minutes ago. Fidgety. Nervous. I'm tracking him. Might be going to Dragon Eyes. The bad news is, ghost cell assassins are all over. They're coming to kill you.
That was
I didn't
fast.
expect them so soon.
Yeah. Sorry. They've got stealth tech and street clothes. No way
She's
to
like,
find and fight them all.
sorry.
You need to get them off your back and now. Take the offensive. Draw them into an ambush.
Look at that sassy answer, number 3. Jesus Christ. Let's see what he says.
I don't need your advice.
If that were true, there wouldn't be a ghost cell, would there? Grab a speeder out of town. There's an old wind farm not far. Plenty of cover. And dust's good for jamming stuff. Should hide the bodies, too. Look, I have to go. They'll be looking for me. Talk later.
Okay. Let the bodies hit the floor. Whoa, 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 whoa. Whoa, 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 whoa. Okay, get the hell out of here. Okay. Bouncy, bouncy. Okay. So we have to go way the hell over there. There used to be a class ability trainer here somewhere, but apparently now it's just speeder piloting.
You want to be on top, gonna need the skills.
Like,
Come
if
back,
they
you might learn something.
If they removed the need for like a class skill trainer NPC, whatever, why the hell is there still a speeder one? Maybe because you have to buy it? That's like my only explanation for it. Tatooine. I loved Tatooine here. I love Tatooine. Imperial Banker. What? Oh. Okay. Nothing really to store. I love Tatooine here. I love Tatooine in Star Wars Battlefront, the first one from 2004. I loved Tatooine on KOTOR. In the movies, of course, that's the first place I loved it. I don't know, man. Something grabs me. I don't know about it. Something grabs me. Shooting Womprats, that's funny. Stims vendor, speeder vendor. Speeda vendor. Where the hell is the taxi? I'm illegally blind. Oh, it's right next to me. Okay. Going deep into Tatooine. Uncharted areas. Nice. Wish I could do this without a taxi, but it is what it is. It's an old game. It's an old game. Pretty cool sights though. I wish my screen didn't like kind of tear, but sucks that I can't use like the direct, what was it called, like direct input, or no, not direct, not DI, DP, display port. Sucks that I can't use DisplayPort because my monitor can monitor does support DisplayPort, but my laptop does not. I mean, maybe it does, but I can't figure it out. Stims vendor, eh? Sure. Let's pay him a visit.
Looking to upgrade your arsenal?
By the way, if anybody recently joined the stream, I'm just messing around on Tatooine. No, I'm doing, this is part 4, I think, my 4th stream of this game. I haven't played this game in 10 plus years. I've unlocked so many different things back then. And now I decided, why not? Let's play the game, see what changed since the past 10 years. And some things stay the same, some things changed. Most things stay the same. But it's, I'm happy to be back a bit. I'll play through the main story for the next couple of streams. I say couple, but we'll see how the leveling goes. But yeah. Oh yeah, and also I subscribed today, so I guess getting XP shouldn't be as much of an issue. What the hell do I want? A field. So maybe field command? No, wait, presence, that's for your companions to be better, right? Ah,
Good
screw it.
hunting.
Okay, nothing really interesting to get there. Ah, Tatooine, man. I one of the coolest things is that the loading times are not super fucking long like they used to be for me back when I played on my like old PC. Now I have a gaming laptop and I really enjoy it. I really appreciate it, and yeah, pretty happy about it. It's literally like I bought it yesterday, and it's already been a year. So just goes to show you. What is this? Oh, never mind. Let's see how quickly I can kill this guy. Let's see. Let's go into stealth. Too bad there's not an indicator if he can actually like see me. Tactical advantage. Whoops. I was trying to melee attack him, but I couldn't do it. Okay. Poison him, even though I'm a direct damage. Stabby, stabby. Okay. Okay. I tried. Want to see how it goes. Okay. Oh, there's two of them. What the hell? You know what? Let's see how this goes. Let's go into stealth. Let's see how well I can do this. If I do it right. Let's do this. This will be awesome. Look at this. Ooh. My heroic abilities. I have all of them. I'm so happy. Did I just interrupt it? God damn it. All of them. Unlimited power. All of them. I love force choke. Yes. So cool. I love that that the smuggler legacy ability is a kick to the nuts. that's beautiful. Oh, might as well take advantage of it. What I mean is, might as well take advantage of the abilities while it's still, while I still have the heroic moment. Whoops. Heal myself up. Oh. Come on. Wow, 3 of them. I didn't even realize. Oh crap. No. My companion. Heal me. Throw a grenade, kick him in the nuts. And yes. Do it. Yeah. Feels good. Feels really good. Nice. And orbital strike on that one guy. Okay, tactical advantage. Oh, it's over. Eh. Oops. Okay. Oh. Accidentally activated my my phone with a voice. Okay, no idea why. Maybe this is a heroic area? What the hell? Okay. Stabby, stabby. Kind of getting used to the controls, to my new controls. Nice. Might as well loot him. God, I hope I'm gonna be able to... What is this? We'll bind it to you, of course. Nice. Whatever doesn't kill me. What was I talking about? I can't remember. Is that a crystal? It is, okay. So yeah, I assume this is a heroic area, and I accidentally... Where am I supposed to go, though? In that cave? Possibly. The sad thing is the planets are kinda deserted. I think. There's two... No, there's one... 9 players. Let's see. Yeah, we're all in the same instance except for those 2 guys. Yeah, it's a little dead, but... it's okay. I kind of view this game... Even when it came out, it's kind of like a... more of a single-player game, but... But yeah. Beautiful. Beautiful. See, the thing is... I would love it if I could like switch between the playstyles on the fly without it like messing up my... The hell? Oh. Jesus, that scared me. Tackle advantage, heal up. Yeah, got distracted because I got notification, like I got a notification from my bank, and I was like, what the hell, you know, because it's the middle of the night, and it's my phone bill, and I'm like, oof, okay. Not the notification I was looking for, but yeah. Anyway, Operative is pretty good. Like I can definitely see it, you know, having its advantages with all the stealth and everything. I hope... Whoops. I hope that I can save it. How do I delete them, though? That's the question. You can't? That's weird. Oh, I gotta look this up, like, let me think about it, actually. So, if I change combat styles, I really hope... So... Do your abilities stay... They were... when you switch combat styles SWTOR. Let's see what AI says. Keep your abilities where you put them. Must have a separate loadout for each style and always switch styles by activating. And always switch styles by activating the specific loadout rather than changing the manual in the combat style sheet. Okay. The character sheet, ranged abilities. Loadout tab. Create separate slot. Make distinct loadout. Style. Always switch via loadouts. Never swap yours directly from the base characters section. Okay. Well, let's try it. I mean, it must be in a sanctuary rest zone. Ah, damn it. Okay. Sand people. Let's shoot them. You come close, I stab you. Nice. I like the combo of like melee and ranged. Oh, look at that, a player. Interesting. Yeah, with operative, I really like the combo of, you know, ranged and melee. I can do this. Okay. Create a case. Nice. These command a small price to some vendors. It can be sold freely there during the elect season. Okay, I have no idea what to do with that. Let's continue. Can I stabby? Secure the building. I assume that means kill everyone. I really like stealth. Stealth video games, stealth and both stealth and like a sniper kind of gameplay. I love that. Okay, stabby. Should have done my different ability, but eh. Nice. Poison them. Nice. Stabby. Secure the building. No. Ah, I wanted to stealth. Whoa, gonna get overwhelmed. Hopefully not. Nice. Very nice. Why am I shooting him? I should be doing that. Yeah, there we go. Very nice. Okay, so I secured that area. Be very, very quiet. Stab him. Nice. Not the ability I want to do, but okay. Nice. Nice. Very good. Slice and dice. Nice, slice and dice. Whoops. No. Okay. How the hell did I activate that? I did something. $25. Very nice. So no new abilities, but not in a safe zone. Ah. Eh. Okay, I need 27 for that. Stabby. Ah, I'll do more damage on this guy. Ah, should have interrupted him. Yeah. Nice. When I think about it, like, I love the stealth and the stealth takedown and whatever. I kind of miss the chaos that can be done with like a power tech, let's say up close and personal, you know. But the problem is, when I like kind of researched it, had I chosen like the power tech, so I would have like the sniper and a power tech. The problem would be like I'd have to, you know, switch between gear and stuff like that, so that would be kind of annoying. Power tech uses a pistol, you know, I'd have a sniper as a different weapon. It's just a big hassle, so I think this is a good combo. Okay, poison them. Ah. Nice. Nice. The melee combat is pretty good. Where the hell is my companion? What? Where the hell is he? Is he stuck down there? He is. What the hell? Look at him. Look at him go. What the hell is going on with him? Look at him. Wow. Okay. So securing the building, I assume that still means like kill everyone. Did I kill everyone? Apparently not. The sand people. Interrupt. Nice. Kind of getting used to the shift. The shift abilities, you know. Still haven't had the need to use healing as much. So it'll be like that. Okay. Prepare the ambush. The ambush. Okay. Tiny bit of bone breaking. Self bone breaking. Readjust. There we go. Nice. Oof. Yeah, I've realized, like, when I was uploading all these videos, I realized that SWTOR is definitely using, like, copyrighted music. It's not just game music made for the game. It's definitely like certain soundtracks of the movies. Okay, they're all stealthing. Here it comes.
Come out. The wind speaks your name. The sand would bury your corpse.
He's just crouching there. How the hell does he not see him? Yep. Huh.
You have asked improper questions. The old man has determined your fate.
Is that so?
Really? Then I have a surprise for you.
We shall see.
Ah, look at the companion. Okay. Nice, I managed to go into stealth before. Let's kill this one first. Wow, I actually managed to kill him. No, no. Ah. Can't go into stealth. Nice. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
They're all dead? What did you do in here? Forget that, you're amazing. Did they hurt you?
It's amazing. Wow, no flirting. That's new. Situation handled, don't worry about me. Where'd you come
You were
from?
hiding back in town?
No, I wanted to make sure you were okay. You look... Never mind. If you hadn't stopped them, they would have come after me.
You look.
I don't know how to thank you.
Ah, there we go. There we go. I knew it. Flirting.
We'll be working together a while, I'm sure.
Flirt
we'll find a
wars.
way.
Actually,
Okay.
I have an idea
She likes
already.
Hmm?
We've got a moment of peace.
Ooh.
Close your eyes.
She gonna... It's like, not right now. It's like, I'm gay.
Can't refuse such a pretty face.
Good. Hold still.
Uh-oh, she's gonna do something bad, isn't she? Oh, shit. Oh, I knew it. I knew something bad was gonna happen. That's a big knife. What the hell?
Sorry, love.
Okay, at least she's a woman. At least she's a woman. Like the sky is like deactivates and it's like hello there. Okay. Not too tough a boss battle so far, because it's 2v1, but... Okay. Sound effect. It's just a bunch of slapping so far. Stabby, stabby. Ah, shame. Shame. She was fun. She was fun. Shame. It is what it is.
Still alive out there?
Ah, okay. There we go. Of course. Of course the freaking game couldn't, like, allow... Okay. Of course the game wouldn't allow, like, her to be dead. We have to flirt with somebody. We have to flirt with everybody.
You're getting attached.
Are you?
Ugh.
What? Never mind. Now, while you were fighting, I think the Tracers got a lock on Dragon Eyes. Let's meet up before this call gets
itchy, I don't know why.
intercepted. There's a trading post near our man's location. I can make it there.
Tell me where he is.
Coordinates, I'll handle this.
Coordinates.
But I still have something to contribute. Shrug me off later. I'll wait for you in one of the storage areas. Should be safe, if you're quick. And if I have to go.
Oh, I'll be quick, alright. As he says that, she's like... Okay, level 25, so this map, I think, is 24 to 28. Does it say that anywhere? Does it say it anywhere? Nope, doesn't say it anywhere. Galaxy map? Yep, galaxy map. So, Alderaan places. Wow, okay, so you can definitely travel just like that. Okay, so we are basically stuck here. And I'm using air quotes because I actually like it. But yeah, we'll basically be here until, well, level 28. Oh, I can melee too. You're wrong. Dead wrong. Nice. Okay. So... Whoops. Okay, stabby, stabby. So far, I feel like it's pretty much very similar, like damage output, just like in a different way. Compared to Sniper. Watch the sniper. I'm very tempted to try and switch back just to see if it's gonna mess up everything. Hopefully it won't. Is this a safe area? Yes, but it's... I still need to... Oh, wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute. Does this count as a safe area, I wonder? 200 credits, A shuttle has been dispatched. By the way, if anybody recently joined the stream, yeah, continuing our Imperial Agent playthrough, and I subscribed today. Very happy about it, finally trying out stealth after a very, very long hiatus of 10 years. So yeah, we're back, baby. At least for the story. We'll see how it goes. So, how do I know that... Ha! Imperial fleet, okay. Fucking hell. Stupid. Like, again, I said it last stream, I love motorcycles, but these guys are like fucking super loud. What does this do? Harvesting moisture. Okay. Do it. Did that do anything? So I want to go to a safe area, but I have no clue. Oh, we might have a rest zone. Okay, nice. So this is a rest zone, and I can do this. So loadouts. Okay, I saved the loadout here. God, I hope my the way that I set everything up is not gonna be messed up. I really hope so. Equipment is missing from this layout. Okay. Must be a sanctuary or rest zone. But I am in a rest zone. What the hell? Bounty hunter phase. I have to go deeper in this area. What the hell? It is a rest zone. What the hell? What the hell is going on? Why can't I do this? I don't get it. I don't get it. I am in a rest zone. Maybe there's something I'm missing? Sanctuary or rest zone? I freaking am in a rest zone. Da, 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 da. Wow, it's the exact same layout as like the Hada starting area. Woo-woo-woo-woo. Not want to click it there. Now I can activate it. What? Weird. Okay. God, I hope. You know what? Because I'm a little paranoid, I'm gonna just take a photo of it, just so I know. It's not a big deal, but then again, I want to try. Okay. What the hell? Wait a minute. Why does it say... How, what? I do not get this. I do not get this. I need to... I have no idea what that... Tried switching. Build, but it overrode it. Oh, okay, so okay, I think I understand how it works. Not completely sure. So I'm gonna go here and I'm gonna change to sniper. Okay, now I'll go to loadouts. Okay, good. So if I go back, copying the active loadout into loadout this in. God, it's so confusing. Like I just wanna like be able to switch seamlessly between sniper and operative, but apparently when I tried, apparently I did it wrong, and then it overrode my last sniper. So freaking annoying. Stupid and annoying. Copying the active loadout into loadout since sniper. What does that even do? Test. Okay. Copy. What? The hell? When you copy it, it selects it. What? Or changes to it. I don't get it. Let's change to operative. Maybe it's not like copy as in copy paste. Maybe it's copying the active loadout into loadout. What the hell? It's so weird. I'm so fucking confused. I don't know. I do not want to mess up this one because I made it very nice. So I don't know. Just gonna do this, and I'm gonna watch tutorial because like sucks. I really don't know what to do. Is it this one? Yes. Okay. So let's go to YouTube. The layout might be a little squished because well, what's it called? The game kind of changes my aspect ratio, so it's kind of gonna be squished, but it's fine. SWTOR loadouts. Quick guide, yeah. 4 years ago. Let's see. She's good. She's really good. Exactly. Yep. Yep. Wait a minute, you guys can't hear this. God damn it.
This is already automatically saving anything that you're doing right here before you ever even touch the loadout system.
Wait, let me hear it again.
To rename it. We have one loadout, and it's default called loadout 1. We're going to call it my first loadout, and we can rename it using the... When I go into my loadouts tab,
okay,
by default, I already have one loadout, and it's default called loadout 1. We're going to call it my first loadout, and we can rename it using the little pencil button to rename it. And this is already automatically saving anything that you're doing right here before you ever even touch the loadout system. What's important to know is that the second I start making changes anywhere here, whether I'm switching between combat styles, between disciplines, or between stuff on my tree, it automatically is saving to whatever loadout is selected. Because I only have one loadout right now, it's automatically saving to my first loadout. So let's say I want to be able to save 2 different options when it comes to my tree. I want to choose, in a realistic scenario, I might want to choose some abilities that make me go really fast, give me a lot of maneuverability during some fights, and in other fights I just want to be able to do more damage. And I could save 2 different loadouts for my infiltration shadow with those types of options. In this case, to make things very visual, I'm going to say my first loadout is having all the yellow abilities on the tree and keep things super, super, super simple. So when I switch over to loadouts, you'll notice over here actually shows the options that you chose on the tree. So I chose lots of yellow ones, and they're saved to my first loadout. Now for my second loadout, for my second one that I want to pre-save, I want to choose lots of blue ones. Okay, so I'm going to go choose all those blue ones right now. Blue, 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 blue. Uh-oh. When I switch over to my saved loadouts, it oversaved. My first loadout, it oversaved my yellow ones that I had chosen earlier. So the first important thing to know about loadouts is when you want to create a new loadout, you want to create a new save preset, you must first press create loadout. So I'm going to go back to my first loadout. I'm going to go back and backtrack a little bit, choose my yellow ones that I wanted for my first one.
Yep.
It's all back to yellow. And I'm going to add a second loadout, which I'm going to call my second loadout. And I'm going to call it blue. Oh, I can't. My second loadout. And for my second loadout, you'll notice it'll have all my choices from before. It kind of like makes a little copy of whatever you had before. And you can now safely start making those choices without overriding your old one. So I've got my blue abilities here. We'll change that one too. I got my blue abilities here. On my first loadout is where I save my yellow ones. To switch between them, I can now very safely switch between them by selecting them and pressing activate. Another important thing to remember is once you have successfully set up 2 different loadouts, you don't really want to touch this anymore unless you want to alter them in some way. So from now on, when I want to switch between yellow and blue, I will always automatically go to my loadout section. I will not click my yellow and blue icons here manually in any way because otherwise I will overwrite them. So once again, here's my second loadout. I got my blue icons. If I start clicking stuff here, woohoo, here's some green ones. Green, 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 green. It'll overwrite them. Oops. I go reselect all my blue ones. So in short, that's how loadouts work. They automatically save to whichever one is selected here. Anytime you want to create a new one, anytime you want to make any major changes that get saved, please click create loadout and add a new one first. There is no way to delete a loadout. However, you can simply rename them if you don't want to use it. Right, do not use. You know, Unfortunately, there's no delete button yet. There is also a copy button, though you don't really need to use it. You just start a new layout and it'll automatically kind of copy whatever you currently have. Now, where things start getting interesting and even more useful is when we're switching between combat styles. So as you may have seen, when looking down at my ability bars, which I have absolutely filled up with the most ridiculous things I could find, when I'm switching between my first loadout and my second loadout, there's no major changes. And that's especially because they're both within the infiltration spec. I can also set up a loadout for kinetic defense if I want to go tank or kinetic combat. To do that, the first thing I would do is create a new layout and make sure it's selected, or you could reselect the old one, and I'll need this tank. The first thing I do is select a new loadout, and then I'm going to switch over to tank. So now it has properly saved it to that new tank loadout. It's added some new tanking related abilities to my bar, and I can also very easily switch back to infiltration by clicking my other loadout and clicking activate. However, same thing, if I click it on here, it's going to override whichever loadout I have selected. This cool option can also work for combat style, so I can switch between shadow and assassin, as those are my two chosen combat styles. If I want to switch over to assassin, the first thing I'm going to do is create a new loadout called assassin. First, very important, don't override. And then I'm going to switch over to assassin using the options.
Wait.
So I can switch between shadow and assassin, as those are my two chosen combat styles. If I want to switch over to assassin, the first thing I'm going to do is create a new loadout called assassin. First, very important, don't override. And then I'm going to switch over to assassin using the options. So super cool, you can actually see it changed all of my bars down here when I switched over to assassin. And let's say for my assassin, I really want to put Phantom Stride on everything. All over my quick bars. I want to put this over here. I want to put this ball lightning over here. I want to put recklessness on like literally every bar. Hopefully you're taking a little more care than me. I'm super noob. Okay, I'm not. We're just doing this for display. When I'm ready to switch back to shadow, I'm not going to click this. I'm going to go to my loadouts. I'm going to choose one of my shadow loadouts. And I'm going to press activate. As you can see, it saved all my...
Okay. I needed that. But... was it this one? It was. Okay. I'm still getting used to my MIDI controller. Keep forgetting which one is which, the buttons. Okay, so I think I got it. I mean, it's pretty simple. It's just annoying. Okay, so the operative is saved. So when I do this, it should activate. Okay, excellent. Now, want to go here. Activate it, and I want to go to sniper. Nice. Okay, so I don't touch that anymore. Oof. Ambush, ambush play. Target resets cooldown lays. After ambush critically hits the target, resets the cooldown of lays, target, and ambush. Okay, sure. Gear. Okay, so let's set up the okay, so take cover anyway. Okay, cool. So let's do this again. Let's set up sniper, and then I'll go back to operative and see if that's basically it. Kind of want to see how I did it on my operative when it comes to the layout. I want to copy certain things. Okay, so that's the same. This will go on B. It will go on V. Go on number 3. Number 2. Okay, so I guess snipe will be the ambush. Ambush is here. Nice. Okay, so that's kind of the setup I want. Spread shot can be like that. What else? What else? Okay. Is that it? Huh. I assume that's it. Okay, cool. Now that I've done that, the finishing touch is gonna be switching my loadout. And I hope it's not gonna mess up everything. Okay. So far so excellent. And I'm gonna go back to sniper. Wait a minute. If I can do it with a can I do it like this? Double ability, probably can't, but I want to see if I can like map a button to like change in loadouts, but I doubt it. I doubt it. Quick bar. Nah. No, nope. I have to do it like from that menu. Which is fine, but I wonder what the shortcut is for loadouts. L? No. K? No. K is for combat style, but what about loadouts? H? No. Nope. How the hell? Wait a minute. Character pane, chat pane, crew skill, skill pane, no. Preferences, world map, map overlay, customer support, legacy, hangar, stronghold, action chapter, codex, cartel, pack, tutorial. So So what the hell is K? Toggle skill. Okay, we're gonna have to do it manually, but it's fine. All right. Okay, I was kind of scared. Like, what the hell? Where's my abilities? Do I have any new abilities? Wish I could like filter them, like active and passive, but I assume none of them. I mean, I assume there's not a new one. Yeah, there's not another one. Okay, at least I figured everything out. Okay. Okay. Take the cab. If I can find it. Where the hell is it? There it is. Moss Anak. Weird how it isn't like telling me to go there, but okay. Weird how the taxi thing wasn't purple. Or pink, whatever it is. Pink. Yeah, pink. Whee! God, it's beautiful. Look at it. I mean, yeah, it is kind of barren and, you know, just big rocks and whatever. But I don't know. There's something about it. Something very, very cool about it. Whee!
You made it, huh? I had a detonator primed just in case. I can probably turn it off now.
No weapons, fool.
So long as I'm around, you keep your weapons powered down. Clear?
Right.
Clear?
Because you're all the protection I need. You think I'm sticking around on this planet for fun? You think I like working with imps? I committed myself to taking down the ghost cell, but that doesn't mean you can treat me like dirt.
What happens if I say apologies?
I was out of line, I'm sorry.
Apology accepted. Let's move on. I told you I tracked down Dragon Eyes. Your trap led straight to the terrorist supplier.
Who is she anyway?
Real nasty sort named Milos Varda. He works for the local crime syndicate.
Milos.
Group called The Exchange.
They use like a foreign name as a Star Wars name. That's funny. Pretty normal name here. Milos. What's the link?
Why the Exchange supplied terrorists?
I don't know a lot about them. The Exchange runs spice, gambling, extortion, broken legs, and blown up speeders.
Started late.
Their guys
I feel it
connected
now.
to the ghost cell. Milos must get supplies through Mosilla and ship them to the village.
Okay. He's our man
I need
then.
to know how he does it. I'll pay him a visit.
I'm sure he has Exchange protection, but his house isn't far. Afterwards, we can meet back here.
His house, okay. Oop-de-doop-de-doo. Okay, so, really cool. Really happy that I can switch back and forth between the styles. Sadly, when the subscription ends, like a month from now, I won't be able to do that. I mean, I can subscribe at any point again if I really want to, you know, mess around. But if I had to choose which one to stick with, I'd probably go with Operative. I just, you know, the stealth is really winning me over. But, you know, I'll use my time to play with the sniper as well, just to see how it goes. The map is, like, when the map is teeny tiny like this, it's so hard to navigate. Whoops. Whoa. Okay, time to use my sniping skills to my advantage. Ah. Nice. Watch the sniper. Ah, should have just done a basic shot. Finish him. Yeah, how the hell did he get there? What? The hell, okay. Why didn't it auto loot? That's weird. Watch the sniper. Side note, just want to see. Okay. Excellent. Do that, and then do that. Can't wait to use the heroic abilities again. It's really fun. Oops. Oh, there's another one. Okay. Gonna have to get used to the new setup with sniper. But it's not too bad. Wait a minute. How much does that cost? 350. I mean, it's useful, but oh well. Pah! Nice. Nice. Watch the sniper. Flop, 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 flop. And finish him. Okay. Where the hell do I... Oh, okay. Suppressive fire. Ah, crap. Okay. Snipe everybody. Nice. Where the hell was I supposed to go? So confusing. So it shows in this direction, but where? Down here, maybe? But I was here. Where the hell am I supposed to go? What the fuck? So I'm going in the right direction. But... apparently I'm not. I shouldn't be going down there. What the fuck? Oh, damn it. I wonder if the frickin' I wonder if the magnifying glass is gonna help. Kinda, but I have no idea where to go. I'm supposed to go inside here? Oh my god. Am I in a safe area? Nope. Nope. Okay. Hello there. Again, more flirting. How much you want to bet?
I didn't hear anyone come in. The guards usually call. If you had an appointment, you should know. My husband is out on business. He'll be back soon.
Her husband is on business. My character is like, Okay. You're in trouble now.
Here, I could have left you alone.
Uh-oh.
As it is.
Uh-oh.
What are you doing? Where are my guards? Please
Guards.
don't do this to us.
There.
Whatever you want.
Ooh, I can kill her. Tell me everything.
I want to know what sort of work Milosh does.
Milosh.
I don't... He never says much. He's never said much, even when he was a moisture farmer. I know he's not involved with the nicest people, but he's not a bad man, I swear.
Let's wait for
If you
him.
don't know anything, I'll have to go to the source. Take a seat.
All right. Please, don't hurt him.
Please don't hurt him.
Isbeth, I'm back.
Isbeth.
What have you done? How dare you invade my home?
I need the information.
You and I are going to have a talk.
What does he mean? What's this all about?
Shut up. Just stay calm. You were the one asking questions. I was promised you wouldn't survive.
Tell me,
Did
babe.
survive.
Yes.
And you're going to help me find the ghost cell.
You have no idea who they are. The ghost
Okay.
cell came to me. They offered the exchange protection. Assassins. If we gave them what they needed, what could I say? They're worse than we are. And now you think you frighten me?
I need more. Push.
I do horrible things too, Milosh. Tell me where the cell is placed.
I could tell you, please. I pack whatever they need. Leave the shipment at a drop point in the canyons. They take the crates home by speeder. The next delivery is
That was
soon.
easy.
That's all I know.
This is the right thing to do.
I understand. I will not cause difficulties. Come, Isbeth.
Shoot him again.
Let's get away from here.
Okay. Return to Mia Hawkins. Let's shoot these guys up. Well. Again. There we go. Suppressive fire. Let's snipe this guy, why not? Nice. One more time. Whoosh. Okay. Say goodbye, stupid bot. So easy. Ooh. Nice. Okay. Sure, why not? Let's travel. Roop-de-doop-de-doo. The thing that would make most sense for me to like invest in, because I apparently have 500 cartel credits, market, whatever, coins. 6 times the charm. When I think about it, maybe. How much does it cost in car? Oh, damn. I assume it's also going to get more expensive with these coins. Well, I think the most useful thing would be to like let's see. Let's look it up. Let's actually see what the smartest thing would be. What's the smartest thing to get unlocked as a sub for Wing Story SWTOR? Smartest thing to unlock for leveling a story character, SWTOR or rocket boost. Okay, I have it. Quick travel cooldown, yes. Improved class mission XP. Okay. Ship and Capital World transport. So ship transport is very useful. Capital World. Yes, but Capital World. I mean, that's not that expensive, but how much is in car? So I can technically get both of them, but too bad you can't buy credits with the coins. Current legacy. Oh, okay. How much do class mission speed perks cost? Cartel. Let's see. Each rank of approved class mission experience is 120. Entire track through the cartel market costs 600 cartel coins. Jesus. Kind of feel like the personal ship transport might be like the Vanguard vessel, black hole, outlaw den, Circa, Oricon, Vichy, Yavin, Odyssey. Appears not to spend cartel coins these character perks. Getting quests incredibly cheap, especially since your subscription is. You have a security key attached to your account for free monthly cartel coins. Do I get cartel coins with the key if I don't play? How much is the key? Okay, I'll try that later. I mean, I don't know. But let's see. Okay, so if I have 500 should I get? I have rocket boost, travel next. Let's see. On account-wide legacy inventory modules, or save them to globally unlock a stat crystal via collections. Account-wide inventory module. This instantly adds 10 inventory slots to every character you currently have and any new character create in the future. Let's see. Droid, Gracious Train Dummy. Damn. That is expensive. So, where is the... What? It's gonna be fun finding these datacrons too. I can't wait. Species, Imperial, Republic. Inventory module. Come on, that's gotta be... What? Where is that? Account-wide inventory module. Gracious mounts. Unlocks. Convenient droids. Damn. Where the hell is the account-wide inventory module? Okay, but how do I... This item can be purchased for all characters on an account. Okay, but... So weird, I don't get it. Okay, but credits, they're small. How do I get account by module? Damn, it's 3 AM. Oh, no. Oh, wait a minute. So, inventory. And then this. Ah, okay, good. It's accurate. Okay, okay. I mean, that might be beneficial later. If my main goal is to complete the story, what should I buy? Massive permanent level combat boost. Dropping a critical purpose-less weapons to turn the character into a powerhouse. Really? What? The hell? What? No way. Crystal. What the fuck? Huh? Adds +1 critical rating to a weapon. Wow. Oh my god. Oh, the pay to win is like crazy. Hawkeye. Ah, damn it. Okay. Ah. Okay, I'll figure it out later. I'll figure it out later. enough wasted time. Where do I need to go? Up there. So annoying, I keep forgetting how to... Okay. This is not a rest zone? Where's the cantina? Is this a rest zone? No. Where the hell is the cantina? I could have sworn there was a cantina. Moss Anak. Outpost Vara. Huh. Okay. Ah, screw it. I'll do it later. I mean, I could have sworn. I could have sworn there was a cantina. These are not safe spaces, okay. I don't know. Screw it. I'll just continue. Talk to me. Where is she?
Hello. I'm recording this message for you. Funny thing is, I don't know your name. By now you've talked to Milos. I hope he gave you what you need to find the village, because I've done all I can.
Okay.
Even sent everything I know about the Eagle's network to intelligence. But now I'm leaving, because I know how this ends. After the ghost cell is neutralized, you turn me in. I can't give myself up to a life of torture. I mean to keep resisting the Empire. Maybe join up with the Republic, something. Anyway, destroy the village. Kill the old man. They're not part of the Resistance. There's something evil.
Okay. It's crazy. Okay, off to the next one. Da, da. Moss and ooh, now we're going out to into the wilds, into the open area. I also love the fact that I can, like, you know, go to the Republic side and sneak around and, you know, like terrorize freaking newcomers, but no, I'm not gonna do that. Not, well, no, at least not in this playthrough. What the hell is that? Jedi Knight. Is that a player? No. I was a player. Nice. Defeat the Republic Walker. Whoops. No, what the hell am I doing? Ha. Ah. Okay. Damn, look at that big guy. Way over there. Out of range, huh? That sucks. Watch the sniper. Actually, let's use my heroic abilities on him. Nah. The other player is probably confused, like, what the hell, how is he doing that? Force choking the robot. The droid, sorry. Okay. Come on, cool down, come on. Go away. Come on, come on. Oh, my heroic is running out. Come on, come on. Want to do those cool things again? A minute left. Oh, there we go. Nice. Yeah. Orbital strike. Nice. Force lightning. Kick the droid in the nuts, that's funny. Damn, he's a tough one. Ah, 10 more seconds. Dang it. Well, at least I can do it 2 times. What? At least my companion is healing me. Oof. Gotta get all the help I can get. He interrupted me, what the hell? Nope, do not do there. And nice. Okay, cool. Okay, that was ah, look at that. Freaking dunes. Jedi Knight. Jedi. Sure, let's kill her, let's see. Let's go stop her. Your foolish powers do not work on me. Actually, they do. No. No, 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 no. She's a toughie, but I am too. Damn, she's tough. And... Oosh. Yeah. Right in the mouth. Okay. 20k credits. Okay, nice. Only 3 players in this. Wow, it's crazy. Hunting sandbat. Damn, that's a long ride, whatever. Crash landed ships. Random crystal in the middle of nowhere. The hell is that? Oh, it's I remember that droid up there. You kind of have to scan him with binoculars. That's fun. Well, guess I'm gonna have to kill these. Okay, 1 shot. Nice. Nice. Now that's some sniper gameplay. Hell yeah. Nice. Ah, he healed himself. God damn. Come on, a little bit lower. There we go. Nice. Very nice. See no evil. Oh, okay, so I just have to... Interrupt? Okay, nice. Nice, interrupted. Do not heal. There we go. Yes. Okay, suppressive fire. Grenade just went up. Nice. Very cool, very cool. Okay, where the hell is this guy? It's a box, okay. Ah, concealer. Hide in the crate, it's funny. Large crate, engineering supplies, construction materials. Easily enough, room enough for... Oh, okay. Climb into the crate, sure. Totally not suspicious. Okay. Black screen. Crap, did I accidentally skip the cutscene? I have no idea what happened. Okay. Suppressive fire. Locate the old man, that's funny. Whoops, that's not what I wanted to do, but okay. Very nice, very nice. Pew, 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 pew. Getting used to the controls still. Nice. Wait. Ah, you can interrupt me. Nice. Oh, okay. Yeah, sure. I'll do the bonus quest. Nice. Easy. Oh, there he is, the old man. Okay, so I'm not gonna approach him yet. But I am going to do this. Erosion dart. Yeah. Ugh. Nice. Come on, come on, come on. There we go. Nice. Very nice. So one more. Don't want to get too close. Want to do the little bonus quest. Oh, okay, perfect. Hopefully he's alone. Ah. Nice. Okay. Basic shots, there we go. And now we talk to the old man. Yes. By the way, if anybody recently joined, I'm doing the story. It's been 10 years since I played this game, and I want to come back into it. So far, so good.
Welcome, my child. I wondered whether you'd find your way.
Thank you for tuning in as well.
I couldn't stop them.
I applauded you.
Oh, look at her.
And you've trampled my garden, of course. But I admire your skills.
Mia?
What happened? Are you all right?
I'm not dying. Look after yourself. The old man.
He's not actually old. He's super old.
Don't mind your friend. We found her in the spaceport and thought we'd bring her home.
They're gonna kill her, aren't they?
We could have killed her, of course. But what reward would that be when she's served so well?
Nice disguise
You don't have
trick.
to show off for my sake.
A trick of the light. Besides, after a while, changing becomes second nature. Surely you've noticed.
The truth is, I let Mia defect. From the moment she began training, I saw that she was weak. Unworthy.
Okay.
I knew she would flee and turn on us. She was the perfect bait
Now
to
he's just
lure
showing
an
off.
Imperial intelligence cipher.
Oops, I didn't mean to.
You sacrificed your own people to meet me.
That's fine.
A few here and there.
Accidentally
Such
clicked.
things are necessary. We've been watching you, learning your techniques. In Mosila, at the wind farm, in exchange territory, syncing our emotions with yours.
Okay.
You're fantastically talented. You'll show us everything, and then we'll replace you inside your own organization.
You can still
I
surrender.
don't want to fight you. Give up now, and I can be merciful.
Okay. Calm down.
All of you, kill him.
You will try. Okay, get my heroic up. Yeah. Can't do that while moving. Okay. Yeah. Can you do... Wait, can you do this? Damn, that's awesome. Look at that. Just annihilating him. Okay, throw a sticky on him. Kick him in the nuts. Kick the old man in the nuts. Force choke him. Bet you couldn't do that. Fucking idiot. There you go. Now what are you looking at?
Good luck, stranger.
I love that I can do that.
You don't know what you're doing.
Oh no, he's turning into a rainbow.
You don't know how many lies are at work.
Okay.
No idea what's really going on.
Right. I'll let him talk.
Why don't you tell me then?
The hell did he do?
You'll find out on your own. Sooner or
Did he
later.
just kill himself? He did.
It's really him. He's really dead. I'm sorry about everything. I didn't know what he was planning.
What a waste.
I can't believe he used me.
How did he use you? He was crafty. It's not your fault. You shouldn't have left me. You shouldn't have
If
let
you hadn't run off and been captured, this might have gone smoother.
I
Oh
left
my
a
god, the
message for you.
balloon. Oh,
Like
I
said,
forgot about it.
I couldn't stay.
I'll explain later.
I'm not an Imperial. I guess that doesn't matter now. We're both here. I'm in no shape to fight. What do we do
Oh, I can
about it?
kill her. What the hell? Fine, I'll listen to her. What do you
I'd
want?
say it was your choice. Tell me what you'd do.
Seriously? All I want is my freedom.
Of course.
But you won't give me that. You're an intelligence agent. It's not how you're trained.
I don't know. I kind of doubt it's gonna bite us in the ass, but if you run, it'll be hard. You can go free.
I won't try to change your mind. Make a life for yourself somewhere new.
Thank you. I won't forget this.
How can I thank you?
Try to remember. The other side.
He's
is all
pissed
that.
because there's no flirting options. Uh-oh. I spoke too soon. Oh, they just held hands. Okay. Okay. Stupid old man. Okay. Look at that guy. There's still one guy left. Oh my god. You know what? We'll let him live. We will let him live. He can, like... I'll leave him to his pleasures of just swinging that sword. That came out wrong. Okay. Oh, he's not alone. Okay, he has friends. Okay. He has friends. Use your ship's hull to... Wow, that's it? Okay. By the way, yeah, that's what I wanted to mention. The balloon. Where the hell... There it is. So, there's this really cool thing. I hope I can actually do it. God, I love... There's something special about, like, being able to... Even though there's nothing here, there's something special about, like, being able to, like, just go all over this, like, desert area. What the hell? There's a thing with this balloon, I remember. There's a certain spot where you can, like, hop on the balloon, and it kind of... If you stay on the balloon, it kind of takes you somewhere. So let's see if I can actually catch the balloon. If I can catch up to it. If I can't, it's fine, but I just want to try. I just want to see. Oh right, yeah, it takes you to the... I think there's a datacron up there. But I have to jump on the balloon. Yeah, I think that's the red glowing thing, yeah. Yeah, there it is. Right there on the left. So, the thing is, like, you, in order to jump on the balloon, you have to be, like, somewhere high. Like, one of these dunes somewhere. Not sure exactly where, but... Okay, so use your ship's hull terminal. I want to see how much is personal starship. So 50k. I really don't want to waste these cartel coins. The thing that sucks is that I don't know if my item's sold even. Like, where's... I forgot where the GTN is on this map. World map. Anchorhead is the Republic side area. So Shift Cantina. Mas Illa. Where is the GTN? I think it's somewhere here. like in the middle, somewhere there, but where is the GTN on this map? I mean, I can go to the fleet. That's cool, but if I can do it on this map, it'll be better. Like, if nobody answers in the map chat within like the next 10 seconds, I'm just gonna go to the fleet. Screw it. 10, 9, 8, 7. Screw it. Screw it. I'm going to the fleet. Okay. And while I'm on the fleet, probably gonna go back to the operative. It's so exciting, like being able to switch place. If I could do the switching, the what's it called? Can't talk. If I could do the combat style switching on the fly, like 10 years ago, would have been really cool. So where do I need to go? The GTN. Where's the GTN? I forgot which area. No, the strongholds. Yeah, okay, this one. There we go. It's 3, almost 3:30 in the morning. I assume nothing sold. Yep. God damn it. Like, I don't know if anybody's gonna buy these things, like... Trade. Let's see how it goes. Want to sell. I don't know, let's try. General. I would really like to get, you know, while I'm a subscriber, get a lot of credits so I can buy certain upgrades. Better do that than, you know, waste the cartel coins. While I'm here, might as well sell some stuff. Speed of and
What can I get for you?
What can I get for you? The hell is that? Power focus. Requires focus. Eh. Sell, sell, sell. Okay.
Come back anytime.
Come back anytime. It sucks. It sucks because I really like to get the credits, but apparently the items are not selling. Don't really have soggy fries. Don't really have anything interesting to sell. Well, I have nothing almost to sell. Oh well. But wait a minute, I'm still level 26. I can't really leave yet. Yeah, I can't really leave yet. So the quickest way I can go to Tatooine for free would be, where is it? There you go. Yeah. Life hack. Quick loading time too, which is excellent. Okay, and then I exit area. Actually, not for free, but damn it. Probably would have cost me that much to freaking fly to Tatooine. Oh well. I wonder where it's gonna drop me off, like at the spaceport or somewhere else. Uh-oh, whoa, the loading screen kind of bugged out. Bugged out for a bit. Awesome art, like really cool loading screen art.
We must put a stop to this.
Spaceport, yeah. Okay, where do we go now? What is the mission? Remote mouse droid control. Control a mouse droid. Eh. Story arc Tatooine. What is this?
Sweep the area and escort.
What's going on here?
Stay where you are, sir.
Make way
Okay.
for Moff Urian.
So much fuss over a walk
Moff
to the
Muriel.
spaceport. You'd think I'd break my own neck without a bodyguard. I'm Mara Urian, overseer of this sector.
Yes, it was. Explain yourself now.
To hold me here, Moff.
You wound me. I merely wanted to thank you for all the good you've done.
Okay.
Tatooine may not be prestigious, but it is useful. We've hosted everything from archaeological digs to weapons testing facilities. A clean
Okay.
slate means opportunity. Imagine Imperial Tatooine as a bulwark against the Republic and underworld corruption throughout the Outer Rim.
Crime syndicates run half this planet already. You mean to turn that around?
Eliminate the disease, and the symptoms will fade. Intentionally or not, you've already struck blows to the Exchange, the Sand People tribes, and others. You have unfinished business.
Barely,
Before
but
you leave,
okay.
I'm offering you a part in this sector's subjugation.
There's a lot of work ahead, and my time is limited. What's our first priority?
Without an Imperial Legion, we need unconventional allies to secure territory, and the local Mandalorian mercenaries are legendary. I've opened relations and posted officers in their settlement, but the Mandalorians must also learn to respect us. You can arrange that.
Okay.
You want a message sent to the Mandalorians. Tell me how.
The Mandalorians use the wastelands outside their village as a training ground. If you survive the passage, they'll be forced to acknowledge you. But retrieve the corpses of their initiates who died in the wastes, drop their own dead at their feet, and they'll be forced to see you as a challenge.
Okay.
I'll prove to the Mandalorians that I can survive what they couldn't.
Put them in their place and help my men, and our conquest can begin.
Sir, Colonel Gorick is waiting to report.
God, I like that armor.
If you'll excuse me, but think on what I've said. Work with me, and the rewards will be magnificent.
I sure hope so. Mos Illa. So, from sand to steel. 3 days completed, okay. Okay. No, wait. Actually, yeah. It's cheaper to do it that way. Go there and then take the cab. Oh, I can't believe it's almost 4 a.m. Hate that. Fucking hate that.
At your service, sir.
At your service, sir.
Travel route is confirmed.
At your service. Travel route is confirmed. It's not dawn yet, that's good. TGIF. Thank God it's Friday. And since I don't have any gigs this weekend, SWTOR it is. Pretty cool. What a beautiful planet. Again, yes, it's a big fucking giant rock, but still. For some reason, I really enjoy it. Wish it was more populated, but eh. It is what it is. Okay. Okay. Recover Mandalorian remains. Recover Mandalorian remains. Do not attack me, dog. Ah, heroic area. Okay, so... No, it's not a heroic. But it is a heroic area. Is that a Mandalorian? Nope. But those are Mandalorian remains. Freaking forgot to change my... Ah, it's fine. Sniper shall do. Sniper shall do just fine. Whoops. Okay, didn't do a lot of damage, but it's fine. Oh, because they're level 28. Jeez. Slightly tougher. Okay, now your turn. Nice. Slowly getting used to the controls, to the new setup. Mandalorian body. Take body, that's funny. Oh, okay. Ah, let's take it. So only 4 of them, okay. I like how he faces that way while shooting there. Video game logic. Watch the sniper. Okay. Watch the sniper. Screw you. There we go. Clean as a whistle. One more. So it remains to Randor Mall. Okay. I assume it's this way. Mandalorians? Yep. Dudes. I assume in here. Where's your master? There he is.
Mandalorian.
He drops it.
Training grounds. I survived what your initiates couldn't.
What are these? You brought the dead here?
Not just any dead. Our dead.
Psst.
You think you can walk into our village and insult us? Imperial dog?
No. He speaks the truth. Our initiates failed, where this man did not. Welcome to our village. You've earned the right to be here. More than those stooges Moff Yorian pays us to protect.
What is your clan's relationship to the Moff?
We agreed to provide space and security for some of his men. He's asked for more, but we will not become Imperial servants.
Huh. Is that an Imperial?
They're afraid of you already. I'm Ensign Ver. The Moff asked me to congratulate you and pass on a message. He's transferring credits to your accounts as a gesture of goodwill. A taste of what's to come.
I hope so.
His valued allies.
Anything
That's
else?
all the Moff had to say.
He also emphasized that he's counting on you to force the Mandalorians' respect and to eliminate any threats to our security. Good luck.
Good luck. What? Oh, it's a pretty long one, isn't it? But can't complain. The hell? So side quest city.
Our relations with your people are based on respect, not just credits. Your concerns will be addressed.
See that they are. Retorche me.
Sir, Zola Arvanis Diplomatic Service currently assigned to the Mandalorian settlement.
Again.
If you have a moment, I'd like to file a request.
My God. More flirting.
Can't refuse such a pretty face.
That's very flattering. A pity we have to discuss business. The Mandalorians let us use their village as a staging area. But they're starting to resent our presence. It's time we moved on. Not
Not an
far
Imperial
from
agent,
here,
he's
there's a
flirting
bunker in
agent.
the hands of Gamorrean raiders. Brutish, deadly creatures responsible for the massacre at the Vaktuin mining colony.
Vaktuin.
But if we had that bunker, we wouldn't need to share resources with the Mandalorians at all.
I don't care. I don't care.
This isn't my concern.
Establishing a forward outpost is key to our Tatooine operations. The Gamorreans will mount a stern defense, but if you can soften the opposition and bring me their base's computer codes, it'll be enough. The Imperial garrison can complete the takeover, leaving the Mandalorians to do what they will.
Okay. Where are the other ones I need to talk to? Oh, okay. Wait a minute. And that's just a different side quest. Where the hell do I need to go? I've already tried going in here, but it's apparently not where I'm supposed to go. It's so weird with that. Oh, it's a different location all entirely. Okay. Okay. This one. Ah. Ah. Yep. Rogar
Take a
Den.
breath. Your news can wait that long.
But sir, Warisman Ordo is dead. We followed him and saw... It was because of the poison. The Sand People got him.
Then he is not the best. This trial is for the best of men.
Familiar
that is what
voice.
Warisman Ordo came to Tatooine to prove. Do not mourn for him. The only true death is to fear to try. Like the Imperial puppets who let...
Politics dictated lives. He sounds exactly like the guy from Assassin's Creed 1. Al Mualim. Yeah, he's almost... I'm convinced it's the same voice actor. Was that
I
an
have a
insult?
pretty low tolerance for insults.
Now, I don't know what it is you do, but I know the Empire respects you for it. Not that I give a bantha's backside what the Empire thinks. They've backed out of a perfectly good war to hide behind a piece of paper. If you want to change my mind, you're welcome to try.
Just
I
tell
never
me.
sign on until I've read the fine print.
The Sand People produce a lethal poison. The only antidote is kept in their holy shrines, guarded by a sacred number
Sounds
of
exactly
armed guards.
like Al
To
Mualim.
prove yourself, you will
Assassin's
take the
Creed.
poison voluntarily,
The original.
and then fight your way to the antidote before you succumb.
Fine, I'll do
I've
it.
survived worse.
More guts than I'd have wagered. Here it is, then. You've got the time it takes the poison to travel from your arm to your brain. By then, you'd better have the antidote in hand. Sand
Okay.
People are all over the place. Finding their shrines will not be the hard part. Surviving long enough to reach them will.
Convoluted quest. Hell. Wow. Okay. Do so while deadly poison flows through your veins. Acquire and use the antidote before the poison reaches your brain. Ha. Rhymes. Okay. So the poison reaches your brain. Can I go up here? Nice. Assume I have to go into this area. Gamorrean. Ah. Just stand like. Nice. Do 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 do.
Those Gamorreans are stealing wind energy from our farms. Help us steal it back.
Steal it back. Not take it back, but steal it back. Ah, I can just do this. Silly pigs. Okay. Where the hell was my companion? You annoying little shit. Okay, one more. Fell. What? I missed. He's crazy. Ah, okay. I come up to him and like, zoop. Yes. What exactly? Where? What? How? When? Who? This way. God, almost 4 AM. As soon as I reach level 27 or 8, I don't know, let's see. Oh, okay. It's not even hitting him. God damn it. Silly Gamorrean. Nice. Okay, do that. Turn to Zola Arvanus. Okay, that's one completed. Whee! Where's the other ones? Okay, I have to go there. The antidote from the Sand People. Ah, I knew it. I frickin' knew it. Okay, shoot you down. Come on. There we go. Yes. Nice. Okay. Oh, wrong one. Ah, it's fine. Discover a new area. Nice. Whee! Imperial medical droid. Ah. Uh-oh. Probably gonna shoot me down, but... Or not. I was lucky. Do not shoot me down. Ah, damn it. I can do this. Nice. Oh, there's still one. Ah. Oops. And... pop! Nice. Nice. Sand people. 20 sand people. Oof. Sure, why not? Psst. Kill them all. Anakin would be proud. Oops. Let's see. Oh, okay, 27. Oh. 27. Back off, you. I'll switch my companion. Actually, no. No. Healing is way better. What a misdirect. Oh, okay. Ah, gonna have to fight him. One shot. Yep. Okay, I missed. Damn, he tough. What the hell? We're getting wrecked. Kinda. Oh, okay. That's what's going on. At least they're helping me level up. Become stronger. Ah, I moved. God damn it. Phew. Nice. Collect all the credits. Only 200. There. Ah, oh, fucking 4 AM. Almost. Where the hell is the antidote? And shoo, nice. Haha. I'm good. I'm stronger. Nice. Sand will fall. Where is the antidote? Please don't tell me it's like down there. Oh shit. It is down there. Oh. Destroy sand people ward totems. Well, going down, I guess. Oh shit. Or up, maybe up. Yeah, it's definitely up. Damn it. Well, good thing I have ranged. Nice. What are you looking at? Okay. The antidote. That's not the antidote. War totems. Ooh, a tough guy, huh? Okay. Terminate. Ooh. Ouch. Okay. Whoa. Shoot him. Nice. Okay. Where's the antidote? There it is. Administer the antidote. Nice. And of course it worked. Okay, so destroy Sand People totems. Sure, I'll do that. Gotta try and reach level 28. Where the hell are the totems? I do not see any totems. There's one. Can I get them all? Yep, nice. Yes. And bomb that guy. Yes. Okay, totem destruction. Green item. Huh. That looks interesting. For use in Outfitter, an armor urgently reserved for world drops only. Let's see. Crap. If only it wasn't green. Sucks that, like... It sucks that you don't have, like, any basic dyes. You have to buy all of them. Wow. Sucks. Really sucks, really sucks. Plus you have to pay for it. Oh my god. Jesus Christ. The things they do for love. Well, for money. There's the other totem. The Sand People. Where the hell is that guy hiding? You can't hide. Ah, waste. Oh, where's the other ones? I assume they respawn. Yep. So I just go back, over. Which sucks a little bit, but eh. Back. Force the attack. Okay. Back, forth and forth. Back, forth and forth. I assume that one here respawned. Not yet. Not from a Jedi. Damn it. I guess just gotta wait. I mean, I hope there are totems like outside of this place. Are there? Nope. Ah. Ugh. Damn it. Damn it. Run away. Lower threat. Oh, there's a totem. Okay. But first... shoot you all. The hell, where are they healing? Why the hell are they respawning? What the hell? Enough. Why would they respawning? I have no clue. Look at these idiots. Ah. Look, what? The hell are you doing? Wow, they came all the way from up there. Die. Okay. Watch the snipe button. Nice. I'm still in combat. What the hell? Why? Who is still alive? Who the hell is still alive? Crap. Nice. Who the hell is shooting? Oh, it's probably bugged. And the sucky thing is that I can't freaking move as quickly. Wow. Finally, oh my god. Jeez. Destroy the Herald Totem. Snipe this guy. Nice. Yeah. Probably gonna spawn somebody. Yep. Okay, good thing I activated that. Enough with you. Don't interrupt me. Nice. Sand will fall. Okay, what now? Bonus mission updating. Deliver the Warlord's Mask. Okay. So, we can quick travel now. I think. Ah, good thing for quick travel. Oh! Oh my god. Who knows, maybe when we turn in all of these, like, quests, we'll reach level 28, who knows? So confusing. So like crammed together. I wish it was not like that. So I have no idea where to go.
Pandosi! Amazing! You live!
My congratulations.
Altair.
You are more worthy than any Mandalorian in the last 5
And any assassin.
Yes, please. What happened?
What do you think
Quite
of
a scrap.
I'm sure the details are hazy. The poison can wreak havoc with your mind. But your
Who knows what
victory
happened?
stands without question. This is the weapon which marks your triumph.
Okay, sorry, I just wanted to check if you're an actual person. Hello. Welcome to my super late stream. What the fuck? First premier storage case. Nah, I'll go safe and the rifle. Hello, welcome, Sir Sagrado. How are you? Hope you're doing well. I'm freaking hot. This, where I live, is like super hot. It's like the middle of the night. It's like 4 a.m. and it's freaking hot. Plus, the laptop being super hot is not helping. Can't log in the game. Don't know why. Not sure. I don't know. Brazil. Nice. Nice. Glad to have somebody from Brazil. It's 22 p.m. Well, don't want to sound like that guy, but yeah, 20. If it's AM PM, then that means it's like 10 p.m. But if it's like military time, yeah, then it's 22. Yeah. Sorry about that. It's late. I gotta.
You made it back. I didn't have a moment.
Gotta do the corrections.
I've already
But anyway, yeah, Brazil. It's like cold where you guys are, right?
It won't be long before we can seize
It's
our
like
new staging
winter
area.
or something. At login says login service currently unavailable. Details on Twitter. What? I don't know. I guess maybe if I logged in now, it probably say the same thing. I don't know. Excellent.
Everything's going as planned then.
Soon we won't have to
I have
play
no idea
friends
about
with the
seasons.
Mandalorians, and we'll be in a position to bargain. It's been a privilege.
I assume because
Your
if it's
partners
summer
won't
here
be
where I
forgotten.
am, it's probably winter where you are. Or it's probably just cold. Again, you must select one. Endurance, power. This one. My old headgear is better. Where are you from? I am from the Balkans. That's in Europe. Sometimes I have to say that because, well, sadly most people from the US don't know. Which is incredible. To this day, I'm amazed. But yeah, the Balkans. The Balkan countries. And where the hell is this other quest giver? Oops. Like, the thing that I... Oh, this is the quest delivery thing. Nice, okay, so we actually managed to reach level 28. Complete can of fodder for commander. Bro, you are awesome, but I got to go. Have a good day. Well, no problem. Whatever important things you have to do, do them. Yes, thank you for stopping by. Have a good day as well, sir. Okay. A little travel on foot, why not? Back, forth. This brutal warlord is something. Dark side. Something. Complete. Where is that brutal warlord? Ah, crap. Let's see if we can do it. Oh. Merry Christmas indeed. No, stop. Ah. No. Actually, you know what? Why am I messing around? Why not just do this? This? Ah, I can't lift him up. Goddamn. He's slapping him. Slapping the shit out of me. But I have my powers. Yeah. Look at that. The power of legacy, son. Boom. Nice. Well, at least I damaged him a bit. A little bit. A lot, actually. Watch the sniper. Okay, a few more abilities. Ah, damn it. Okay. I assume I'll level up. Yeah. Very nice. Very cool. Did I get a new ability? No? Ah. I don't understand. Like, I've done a lot of these things, like, with progress, but I'm still not getting this. One, two, three, four, five, six. What the hell? I have 3k of best points. Can't take claim. I have no idea how it works. I don't know how I get these. Like, it looks like I don't know. Yeah, screw it. I'll abandon it. Yeah, okay. Let's now we shall go to the ship terminal. Let's see. Actually, yeah, I don't need to go via quick travel. Not necessarily. Speeder, where's the speeder? Okay, Moss Illa speeder, and then maybe I'll be able to travel. And then when I return to my ship, then I'll end the stream because it's gonna be freaking 5 a.m. until I finish. But I'm glad I'm glad that I managed to do enough stuff to go to Alderaan. Alderaan places. Beautiful map. Frickin' stunning. Okay. Sucks that I can't quick travel to the... Maybe this will help. A little bit. Why not? Until I get... enough money for the personal starship thing. This will have to do. 50k. God damn. I have 30k, so hopefully I won't have to like spend all of the money, but still doesn't seem that easy to get credits. To get a lot of credits. To Imperial agent. Imperial agent. It's always a gamble, like, is it on the left, is it on the right? Ugh, my ass. Frickin' 4 AM, so freaking annoying. Okay. Whee! Okay, skip that. Beautiful cutscene, beautiful world, but skip that. Okay. Use your ship's holo terminal. Yes, the final cutscene.
Transmission established. This is Watcher 2. Your efforts to destabilize the Terra network are working better
Time to
than
flirt.
expected, Cypher. Unfortunately, I don't have good news. We attempted to capture the Eagle in a raid on Tholiton. We found a base, but the man had moved on.
Never the
You're
good
going to
news,
make
huh?
me start dreading these calls.
I don't like reporting bad news any more than you like hearing it. We've also been researching the so-called Eradicator devices. They're satellites, orbital strike weapons with enough firepower to level a city. Here's the bizarre thing. The terrorists aren't building the Eradicators, they're growing them.
Growing?
What do you mean, growing?
The Eradicators are a combination of biological and mechanical components, organic batteries in a weaponized shell. The terrorists...
Oops. Terrorists don't need factories anymore. They can grow radicals whenever there's room. How long
Do we know when
have?
the terrorists plan to attack?
Not tomorrow, but soon. For now, we'll continue gathering information. You have your own mission. Destroy the cells and they'll lead us to the Eagle. Watcher 2 out.
But where? Oh, okay. So we're done with Tatooine. Sadly, at least on this character. But who knows? Okay. So that's it. I'll travel to Tatooine. Can't get it out of my head. I'll travel to Alderaan in the next stream, and let's see. Okay, switching scenes. There we go. Okay, the game is automatically saves. I wanted to say like, I'm gonna save the game. Okay, so that will be it for this playthrough. Let me close this. You guys can't see that. Okay, that'll be it. It was nice. Thank you for watching. This has been part 4, I think. So next time we go to Alderaan places. And yeah, it's been nice. It's fucking... it's 4:20. Oh my god. It's too late. It's too late. Okay. I'll be seeing you next time.